In this textual analysis video, we'll go over what to do when you first come across a non-literary text. This is your initial analysis of non-literary texts. Now, as a literature student, you're probably already familiar with how to analyse literary texts such as novels or poems. You can identify and analyse literary devices or elements of literature, literary themes, and you know how to connect with a text's historical context. However, with non-literary or non-fiction texts, you might sometimes feel like you don't know where to begin. This is where Clapstone comes in. It's a model to help you remember what to look out for when you analyse non-literary texts. In other words, it's a helpful reminder of the things you need to identify in non-literary texts. So what does Clapstone stand for? Well, it stands for content, layout, audience, purpose, style, and tone. Let's break each of these areas down. The C in Clapstone is for content. Basically, this is where you ask yourself, what? What is the subject? What is the text about? What are the repeated ideas or themes that you can notice? What messages can be inferred about these themes? Here are some useful questions you can ask yourself. What is the text about? What are the text messages, main ideas and themes? And how does the content affect other aspects of the text, such as style, layout, or purpose? The L in Clapstone stands for layout. This asks how. How is the text designed? Or what does it look like? How is it structured? How has the text been used? And how have images or other elements been structured? What is the genre or type of text? Important questions to ask yourself are, what is the text genre? What does it look like? And does the text challenge or adhere to genre conventions? If the answer is the latter, make sure you ask yourself why these conventions have been broken and how they affect the purpose or reception of a text. The A in Clapstone is audience. Ask yourself who. Think about the target reader. Question who it is made for and why. What do you think the intended audience age, gender, race, political beliefs, and socio-economic status are? And how have the intended audience affected other aspects of the text, like style, content, tone, or layout? The P in Clapstone is for purpose. Another why. Think about the aims of the text, or if it requires or requests anything from its audience. Ask yourself what the text is trying to achieve, whether it is to inform, argue, persuade, or entertain. How does this purpose affect other aspects of the text? S is for style. You're asking how again. How has the author utilised certain stylistic choices or devices? Ask yourself what techniques have been used in order to help achieve their purpose. Look for any stylistic devices or rhetorical appeals, interesting use of language, and again, think about how the style affects other aspects of the text. Finally, T for tone. Identify how the text feels. What are the author's attitudes towards a subject, or the audience's feelings or mood? How is the subject treated? For instance, is there a bias? Ask what is the author's attitude toward the subject of the text and how formal or informal the author is. What is the mood of the text, and how does the author make the intended audience feel? Consider how the tone affects other aspects of the text. So let's have a quick example of how this Clapstone model can be applied to non-literary text. This is an example of a non-literary text you might be asked to analyse and write about. First, let's consider content, the C in Clapstone. What is the text about? What are the main ideas and themes? And how does this affect any other aspect? Well, I can see from the title, as well as the female characters with their hands up, almost as if they're defending themselves, that the text theme is about sexual harassment and silencing women. The statistics and contact information informs me that the message of this text is to raise awareness and to seek help or speak up if you're a victim. The themes of harassment and being silenced have affected with the inclusion of certain stylistic elements, which all explore this theme, such as the #MeToo hashtag, the striking images of these female characters, the taped cross on the woman's hand in the background, which can often symbolise being silenced. At this stage, I'll write notes about all of the things I find related to the content and its messages. Next, I consider the L in Clapstone, the layout. What does the text look like and what is its genre? Well, it's clearly a poster and there's not a lot of text. There are, however, striking images and colours, as well as statistics and contact information. All of these elements follow typical genre conventions for a poster. Again, I make sure to write my notes. I might need these later. Thinking about the audience, or the A in Clapstone, I can ask myself, who is the text intended for? And I might try to consider the age, gender, race, political beliefs, or socio-economic status through certain elements used. For instance, the red and pink and purple colour scheme inform me that the text is aimed at women. Female characters within the text support this inference I've made. I'd also argue that it is aimed at younger, more modern audiences, as it uses a hashtag, which modern audiences on Twitter would be familiar with. Again, I'll make sure to write my notes. Moving on, I think about the P in Clapstone, the purpose. I can think about what the text is trying to achieve, whether it's to inform, argue, persuade, or entertain. Now, given that this text is aimed at women who might have been subject to harassment, I don't think it's trying to persuade people to stop sexually harassing. Instead, I think it is to inform people about harassment. The inclusion of statistics and facts support this analysis. Moreover, the contact information tell me that it might be trying to inform people that there is help out there. I'll make my notes. Time for the S of Clapstone, the style or stylistic choices. Think about what techniques have been used, or identify and analyse any devices or examples of rhetoric, or interesting uses of language. I'll blow up the smaller text so we can analyse that too, as language is important. Well, the title is very direct. It's an imperative or an order, calling people into action. The text has multiple examples of sibilants repeating the S or S sound, and this highlights how sinister sexual harassment is. The use of a ribbon in the background also links this to a worthy cause, as the ribbon has become a symbol of social causes. There's also a superlative in most common, which has a strong, powerful effect. The use of statistics create a logical appeal. The cross on the woman's hand in the background can be a symbol of being silenced. The women as well, although faceless, look like they are in distress, as if they're trying to protect themselves, but they cannot speak. I'll look for as many specific choices and consider why they have been made and the effects that they have. Finally then, tone. What is the author's attitude toward the subject? And what is the mood created? How formal is the text? Well, it's urgent or authoritative. This is created through the title, which reminds readers of a stop sign signifying authority. The mood is alarmed, as readers who empathise with the characters may feel distressed. The text at the bottom is sympathetic and helpful, and offers help to those who need it. Now I have my full Clapstone analysis. I might be asked to write an essay, given an essay question or an essay prompt. For example, I could be asked to comment on how the interplay between text and images are used to appeal to a target audience. Well, I have all the information I could possibly need, and now, after analysing the text, it's time for me to organise what I have, and I need to be selective in order to effectively and efficiently answer the essay question or prompt. Now, we can use this model with a 3-tier system, which helps us sort of zoom in and then zoom out, building on analysis, particularly in our writing. At level 1, we still zoom in and look at the smallest elements, the style and visuals, the language, and we try to find examples of stylistic devices or important visual choices. We can look for rhetoric as well, considering the effects that all of these might have. We consider the impact any choices might have on its reader. Next, in level 2, we apply stylistic choices to a whole in the text. This might be the whole tone created or mood achieved. It might be a rhetorical appeal created through rhetorical devices. But all of these are examples of wholes created through smaller elements. Finally, at level 3, we can consider the purpose, audience, content, and genre. What is the purpose, and how have these choices achieved this purpose or not? Who is the intended audience, and in what ways have these choices been made to reach that audience? What is the theme or the author's message, And how has this been created? How does the text fit into a genre or challenge it? These are all connections we can make in level 3. So, before you go, remember, Clapstone is a model to help you remember what to look out for when you analyse non-literary texts. It's a reminder of the things you need to identify in literary texts. It stands for content, layout, audience, purpose, style, and tone. Remember these elements and look for them carefully the next time you're analysing non-fiction text. Thank you.